Welcome back to our channel, Zero to English, the podcast dedicated to helping you achieve fluency one practical conversation at a time. We break down real-world English so you can speak confidently in any situation. If you love practical lessons like this, please remember to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Good afternoon and welcome back to the show. I'm Perry.
And I'm Alan. Before we dive into today's topic, let me ask you, the listener, a simple question.
Is your living room currently a carefully curated adult space, or is it a vibrant, chaotic, multi-purpose landscape dominated by plastic toys and small shoes?
If your answer is the latter, if you occasionally find cereal in unexpected places, then you know the beautiful, relentless reality of life at home with kids.
Our hook today is this. We are going to stop pretending that life with children is about effortless balance and start validating the chaos. We will provide practical, psychological frameworks to embrace the beautiful disruption kids bring to home life, not fight it.
The first step in survival is the reality check. We must fundamentally shift our expectation of what home means. Home stops being a sanctuary of order and becomes a dynamic workshop of development.
This architectural shift requires recognizing that children are agents of environmental transformation. Their natural state is exploration, and exploration is inherently messy.
The key psychological principle is letting go of the need for aesthetic perfection. That pristine Pinterest-ready home, it exists only when children are asleep or absent.
Fighting the natural entropy of a house with children is a guaranteed source of stress. We must replace the goal of perfection with the goal of functional comfort.
Functional comfort means, is the space safe? Can we find what we need? Is there room to play? If yes, you are succeeding.
We will use the framework of the 4 zones of home life to manage expectations. The public zone, kitchen, main living area, is where we aim for 60% order. The private zone, parents' room, is the sanctuary where order should be maintained. The transition zone, mudroom or hallway, is expected to be messy. And the chaos zone, the playroom, child's room, is where the children have full license for disorder, provided it's safe. This distribution of effort prevents burnout.
Furthermore, we need the concept of permission to parent. Give yourself permission to have mismatched furniture, mismatched socks, and a dinner schedule that sometimes involves cereal. This self-forgiveness is the antidote to the emotional strain of trying to maintain 2 incompatible realities, childhood and adult aesthetic standards. The psychological foundation is set. Now we move into the 2 biggest logistical mountains of home life with kids, mealtime and sleep.
Let's start with mealtime mayhem. The key here is predictability and low-friction options. We call this menu cycling.
Menu cycling means selecting 10 to 12 simple, healthy, kid-approved meals and rotating only those. This eliminates daily decision fatigue for the parents and provides familiarity for the children.
Crucially, we must introduce the concept of deconstructed meals. Instead of mixing everything in a single casserole, serve components separately. For example, rice, chopped chicken, and separate vegetables. This gives children agency and reduces food battles.
Now, sleep. Sleep deprivation is the fastest way to turn beautiful chaos into toxic chaos. We must standardize the bedtime routine.
The bedtime routine is a predictable, sacred sequence of 3 to 5 steps that signals to the child's nervous system that it is time to wind down. Consistency is more important than timing.
The sequence might be bath, book, lullaby, lights out. The predictability of the sequence releases melatonin and lowers cortisol, preparing the body for rest.
We introduce the role of the sleep sanctuary. The child's room should be dark, quiet, and cool. Electronics must be banished to minimize the disruptive blue light that suppresses sleep hormones.
If a child resists sleep, the strategy is relentless boredom. Do not engage in elaborate negotiation or games. Simply return the child to bed with minimal interaction until the routine wins.
Let's expand on the neurobiological foundation of the bedtime routine. Children thrive on circadian consistency. The predictable sequence reduces the cognitive load required to transition from active play to rest. We must emphasize the importance of dimming the lights 30 minutes before bed to allow the brain's suprachiasmatic nucleus to initiate the natural sleep cycle.
The concept of decision fatigue and meal preparation is a leading cause of parental stress. By implementing menu cycling, parents conserve the limited daily mental resource, ego depletion, that would otherwise be spent deciding what to cook. This energy can then be spent on patience or connection.
Dealing with food battles requires mastering the concept of division of responsibility, a psychological tool. The parent's responsibility is what to serve, when to serve it, and where to eat. The child's responsibility is how much to eat and whether to eat. Once parents release control over the quantity, food-related anxiety dramatically decreases.
We must detail specific strategies for managing bedtime resistance. The sleep sanctuary rule includes using white noise machines if external noise is disruptive. For the relentless boredom tactic, the parent's voice should be low, neutral, and consistent. Use a simple script. It's bedtime now. I love you and I will see you in the morning. No bargaining, no elaborate explanations.
Finally, the energy reserve. Parents must view their sleep as an essential component of household safety. Prioritize sleep co-parenting or scheduled breaks to ensure at least one adult maintains a minimal energy reserve to handle the inevitable nighttime disruptions without resorting to emotional reactivity. We now move to communication, how we talk to kids and how we manage the inevitable conflict that arises when two or more people share a small space.
The language of chaos requires moving from reactive language, what happened, to proactive language, what to do next.
When a child spills milk, the natural reactive language is, "Why did you do that? Now look at the mess." The proactive language is, "The milk is on the floor. Get the sponge, please."
Proactive language focuses on the solution and the next action, avoiding shame and minimizing the length of the conflict. This is solution-oriented communication.
We introduce the concept of preemptive scripting. Before entering a challenging situation like a crowded store or a new house, give the child a simple, clear, positive script for expected behavior.
For example, when we get to the store, we are going to use our walking feet and quiet voices. This sets a clear behavioral anchor before the environment creates the challenge.
Now for discipline. The most effective tool is the natural consequence. The consequence of an action should be directly linked to the action itself, teaching responsibility, not punishment.
If a toy is left out and broken, the natural consequence is that the toy is now broken and unusable. If a child refuses to put on a coat, the natural consequence is feeling cold outside.
The parent's role is not to impose arbitrary punishment, but to enforce the reality. Because you chose to throw the toy is now put away for one day. You may choose to play with it tomorrow.
This removes the parent from the role of the punisher and places them in the role of the reality enforcer.
Let's detail the importance of parental emotional regulation before discipline. When a child is melting down, the parent's first job is to regulate their own nervous system. The technique is the pause and name strategy. Pause. Take 2 deep breaths and mentally name the feeling you are experiencing, e.g., I feel anger. This short delay prevents the emotional hijacking of the response.
We must explain the science behind natural consequences. Punishment often focuses on shame. You are a bad boy or girl. Natural consequences focus on causality. Your actions led to this result. Shame destroys connection and confidence. Causality builds responsibility and problem-solving skills.
Expanding on solution-oriented communication, practice replacing no with yes later. When a child asks for ice cream at 9 a.m., instead of saying no, absolutely not, say yes, absolutely. We can have ice cream after we finish lunch and the sun comes out. This teaches patience and manages desire without peer rejection.
For preemptive scripting and larger settings, practice using the if-then statement. If you ask politely, then we will stop for a story. If you run away, then we will immediately go home. The child is clear on the terms before the action. This shifts the responsibility for the outcome to the child's choice.
The goal of this phase is to make communication a predictable, safe, and structured experience, transforming verbal chaos into functional clarity.
The physical challenge of life with kids is managing the sheer volume of stuff. The house must handle the constant flow of toys, art projects, and clothing.
The key is implementing the closed-loop system for toys. Toys must have a clear, designated, accessible home, and they must return there regularly.
We recommend toy rotation. Instead of having all toys available all the time, divide them into 3 bins. Only one bin is accessible at a time. Rotate the bins weekly or bi-weekly.
Toy rotation fights both chaos and overstimulation. When fewer toys are available, children focus more deeply on what they have, improving attention spans and creativity.
The storage rule is critical. Storage must be accessible to the child. If the child can't reach the basket or bin, the expectation that they put the toy away is unreasonable.
This empowers the child to be an active participant in managing the household entropy, reinforcing responsibility.
We must also address visual clutter. Visual clutter increases stress for both children and adults. Utilize opaque storage containers over clear containers to hide the chaos.
Finally, the concept of reset time. Implement a non-negotiable 10-minute household reset right before dinner or bedtime. This is not punishment. It is a collaborative, shared effort to move the home back to functional comfort.
Let's detail the psychological benefit of toy rotation. When a child hasn't seen a toy for 2 weeks, retrieving it creates a novelty boost, similar to receiving a new toy. This maximizes the utility and value of existing resources while dramatically reducing the visual noise in the public zones.
For storage types, we need specific solutions. Utilize vertical storage, shelves that go up, to maximize space. Use cubbies or labeled baskets in the transition zone for shoes, coats, and backpacks. This is the single greatest tool for managing entry chaos. The labels should ideally use both words and pictures for young children.
The reset time must be framed as a collective action. Use a catchy name like the 5-minute tidy blast. Play upbeat, timed music. The children see the parents participating, not just supervising, reinforcing the value of shared responsibility. Make it fun, not a chore.
We must also discuss the one-in, one-out rule for new toys. When a major holiday or birthday brings new items into the home, a discussion must take place about donating or discarding an old similar item. This prevents the exponential, unmanageable growth of physical clutter over time.
The goal of managing space is not to eliminate all mess, but to ensure that the mess is temporary and reversible, creating breathing room for the adults and focus for the children.
A huge challenge for modern parents is the erosion of boundaries, especially when work-life lines are blurred. We must protect adult time.
We introduce the visual boundary signal. This is a simple, clear, observable signal that communicates that the parent is unavailable even if physically present.
This could be a specific pair of noise-canceling headphones, a hat worn backwards, or a simple closed door with a stop sign drawn by the child.
The rule must be non-negotiable. When the signal is on, only emergencies warrant interruption. This teaches children respect for focused work and adult cognitive space.
We must proactively plan for quiet hours. These are scheduled periods where noisy play is redirected to quiet, sustained activities. For example, reading, drawing, puzzles.
For adult connection, we emphasize the concept of the relentless pursuit of date night. Even if you cannot leave the house, schedule a formal date night at home after the children are asleep.
This requires mutual commitment to put away electronics, light a candle, and engage in non-logistical conversation, talking about things other than chores, money, or the children.
Finally, the concept of permission to delegate. We often feel guilty asking for help. Delegate tasks to older children, age-appropriate chores, or outside help, babysitters, cleaners, to free up essential restorative time.
Let's look at the cognitive science of the visual boundary signal. For adults, constant interruption drastically increases the time needed to complete tasks and contributes to chronic stress. For children, respecting the boundary builds delayed gratification skills. The time spent teaching the boundary is an investment in future productivity.
Expanding on quiet hours, this is a proactive tool against overstimulation. Plan quiet activities in advance and present them as a special, calm privilege.
The goal is to teach the child independent, sustained play, or ISP, which is vital for later success in school and work.
Protecting marital capital, the relationship between the parents, is non-negotiable. The relentless pursuit of date night ensures the foundational relationship is maintained. The non-logistical conversation rule is enforced by the 3-topic limit. The first 3 attempts to discuss children or logistics are redirected by the partner.
The permission to delegate should be normalized. Calculate the economic value of your time. If hiring help, for example, a sitter for 2 hours, costs less than the mental relief it provides, it is an essential investment in family well-being. Children benefit from having relaxed, present parents, not exhausted martyrs.
This phase is about recognizing that setting clear boundaries is an act of love. It teaches children self-regulation and ensures the adult reservoir of patience and focus is not depleted.
For our final section, we've covered chaos, logistics, and boundaries. The final step is integrating all these systems and finding the unique joy in the chaos.
The true success of home life with kids is not eliminating the chaos, but integrating it, allowing the adult structure to support the child's exploration.
We recommend the 5 minutes of novelty rule. Every day, give the child 5 minutes of completely unstructured, parent-led, playful novelty. For example, pretending the rug is lava, or building a monster under the table.
This focused, non-demanding connection acts as a preventative medicine against behavioral issues and creates lasting positive memories.
We must practice gratitude for the disruption. Reframe finding a forgotten toy in a strange place not as an inconvenience, but as a small, humorous sign of life and exploration.
The final identity shift is from manager of children to facilitator of growth. You are not there to control, you are there to provide the structure that allows the child to flourish.
This is the beautiful chaos, the recognition that the temporary disorder is the byproduct of profound, unique human development happening right in your living room.
Embrace the mess, value the moments, and trust your systems.
The greatest accomplishment of a parent is not a clean house, but a well-loved, functional home.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the beautiful chaos of family life.
We hope you feel validated and equipped to enjoy the beautiful, messy ride.
We'll be back next week to discuss techniques for mastering financial planning.
Until then, cherish the noise.
Goodbye for now.